Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to True Talk Tuesday, the weekly show in which I give you the real deal on, well, anything, especially anything that has to do with Central Florida. Today, we are kind of pivoting, right? And if you follow my Facebook page, you probably saw the earlier post that went up around 7 o'clock. I had a guest that was going to be on tonight, and unfortunately, she's had an emergency. I did not know that donkeys were afraid of lightning. So, anyways, now you're like, wait, who are you gonna have on? Don't you want to know? Next week, she is no longer having to donkey sit. I don't know. Like, I don't know what she's doing with the donkeys, but we can talk about it. I know that she takes care of animals. That much I will tell you, but this guest is a person that does a little bit of all things, and I love them dearly and cannot wait for you to see them. So you got to stay tuned till next Tuesday. All right, my lovelies, you got to be next Tuesday. So tonight we're talking about something different. All right, one of my favorite things to talk about with people that aren't from around here is Florida. I like talking about Central Florida. There's a lot of things that we do that are kind of weird to other people. I know that much. But the other thing is we have some really, really cool little businesses, like small businesses, right, around here that I think that when people come in and they're visiting Florida and they're visiting Lakeland, right, or Auburndale or Bartow or Winter Haven, like they don't know of all the little cool businesses that are there. So I'd like for us to be able to talk about those little businesses. I see a lot of them. Why? I see a lot of coffee shops. I'll say that. I see a lot of coffee shops. It's probably not best for my health, but I see a lot of coffee shops and there's some cool things. So tonight we are going to talk about that. I would love for you to leave me a comment. Let me know what is your favorite. If you're a native Lakeland, native Auburndale, native Winter Haven, native Central Florida, right? Where's your hidden gem that you absolutely love, right? You can't do without, right? If we have time, I will share with you just a little bit, maybe. I haven't decided. Just a little bit of what Lakeland looked like when I was a kid. Um, it was different. And as a teenager, I will tell you, we made our own entertainment. Oh, so glad. I am so glad that social media and there was no videos. I'm just glad, all right? I am in that generation. There's no evidence of what I did, right? All right, so tonight I wanted to start off with the things that I know most, and that are coffee shops here in Lakeland, Winter Haven. I haven't gotten to a whole lot of an Auburndale yet, and I think that's a miss for me. I really definitely need to go see some coffee shops in Auburndale. I like hanging out in coffee shops. I was the friends. That's why the whole thing was pivot today, right? Because Friends was one of my favorite shows when I was in high school. So I always dug doing work from a coffee shop, right? I used to want to live above a coffee shop. I used to want to be like I used to want to work at a coffee shop. So I loved that. So I do a lot of meetings in coffee shops. I do a lot of my work from coffee shops just because it's a thing that I like, right? But I like things that are different and unusual. So I will say, if you are here in Lakeland, one of my favorites, and I've gotten to go to once, and I need to go back. But so much of my work is done on the south side of town. So I need to get back on the north side of town. That's another thing. If you're from Lakeland, you understand what I just said. We literally have like a dividing line between north side of town and south side of town. And depending on the side of town depends on what kind of things you have available to you, right? So north side of town typically is our agricultural side of town. And they have been not having a whole lot of coffee shops out there, but recently they've got one that caught my eye, and my best friend and I went and go and had a business meeting there because we do other things besides just be friends, right? We we have business stuff together. But we went to Flamingo Bean. All right. Flamingo Bean. If you have not been to Flamingo Bean, I highly suggest Flamingo Bean. I love coffee. I love coffee, right? I especially am a basic about coffee though, and I love my lattes. I love them latte. Sorry. It was there. I had to take it. Sorry. But um so their latte, delicious. They have different signature drinks that they make. My best friend Gail got one that tasted like I believe she said it tasted like a chocolate covered strawberry. It was a pink drink. It was cute. It was good. They have pastries there. Delicious. All right. So if you are on the north side of Lakeland and you're looking for something in the morning, Flamingo Bean is my suggestion. Now, in going towards downtown and south side have a couple of different coffee shops that I visit. Downtown, there's always Mitchell's. Mitchell's is a tried and true coffee shop, especially for realtors. I can't tell you how many times I go in there and there's like 5 of us sitting in Mitchell's. There's a lot of real estate offices downtown, and Mitchell's is in downtown Lakeland. There's also Black and Brew in downtown Lakeland. Now, I don't see as many realtors when I go into Black and Brew, but I do see a lot of the women that are involved in the networking group that I'm in, Polk County Women Mean Business. Remember, I had Jessica and Lou on last week. So there's a lot of those business owners there, but I haven't seen a whole lot of realtors there. Then if you, let's see, there's all Divalicious. You gotta go to Divalicious, just not for coffee either. Like their sandwiches, their deli sandwiches, chef's kiss. All right, gotta do it. Other coffee shops. I love Lucky Goat. Lucky Goat is good. that is towards the south side of town. Rogue Coffee is pretty good. Parlor Donuts, it's a chain, but it's good. There is also Foxtails, again, chain, still good. So we have Foxtails. I enjoy that. So we've got a lot of coffee shops here that are pretty cool. Now, there is not a coffee shop. They serve tea and charcuterie that I recently got to go to, which was called Sabrina's. And that is located on the south side of town. Sabrina's Delicacies. Again, delicious. All right. I like food. All right. I like coffee. I like food. So if you got questions about coffee or food, hit me up. I got you. Right. I have suggestions for days on coffee and food around here. Okay. As far as kids, so when I was raising my kids during the summertime, I was a teacher before I was a realtor. And we 5 children on a teacher's budget. It's kind of hard to entertain them during the summertime. So we had to find a lot of free things to do. I would love to hear from some parents right now that have school-age children. There used to be a program that the Cobb Theater used to do, and it was like $1 movie during the summertime, and you could go in and you take your kid, and it was like $2 popcorn or whatever, it was real cheap basically. And it was a replay of an older movie. It wasn't a movie that was current, but it was a kids movie. I think one year when I took my kids, we saw American Girl. It was a movie, American Girl. And then there was a Desperado, the mouse. We saw that. So there was those kind of things, but I don't know of any, because now my children are adults and my grandchildren, my daughter takes them and does all kinds of things with them. So I don't have to necessarily plan daily entertainment with them. We recently took our granddaughter to Dunedin to play Monster Mini Golf. But as far as around here, by the way, Monster Mini Golf in Dunedin, I know people are gonna be like, that's a little bit of a way, that's a little bit of a drive. Yes, but it is worth it. All right, it is well worth it. Monster Mini Golf is fun. But there's so much in and around Lakeland, Polk County, like just Central Florida has a lot of cool things to do. My husband and I do a lot of nature walks. Circle B is a pretty big one around here in Lakeland. I say here in Lakeland because I do a lot of stuff in Lakeland. Lakeland has Circle B and Bonnet Springs. Bonnet Springs is amazing, absolutely amazing. If you have not been to Bonnet Springs yet, I highly suggest Bonnet Springs. It's never feels crowded, even though you're pulling into the parking lot going, I don't have a place to park. It looks like there's gonna be a crowd here. Yep, there's gonna be a crowd there. But but you'll be able to, once you get in the park, you'll see like it doesn't feel that way. It's kind of spacious. Now when they have their big celebrations, like their Pacific Islander celebration, that is huge. And there is a line to get into the park. So those type of events, yeah, I would say good luck. We've attempted twice, and I think that's the last attempt because we couldn't even get into the park. That's the downside of it, but if you get there early enough, you can get in. And I know that they're working on it, so hopefully next year the line to get into such events won't be such a big deal. Circle B has been around for a while. When I was a teacher, I sponsored a club, the Green Team, and we would go out to Circle B and do stuff out there. Circle B, my youngest was 5 or 6 years old when Circle B, yeah, 5 or 6 years old when Circle B first came out there, and he is now 25. So it's been there for a while. Recently, Circle B was in the news. Unfortunately, a family managed to get lost in Circle B. And the thing that you need to know about Circle B, and if you're not from around here, I'll say that. If you're not from around here, right now is gators mating season. And they get very aggressive if you're in their territory. And the thing about Circle B is the backside of Circle B is up against Lake Hancock. And Lake Hancock actually is known to have a lot of gators. The thing about gators is as long as you are being respectful of them and you're giving them their space and you're not in their territory, right? You see them and you're like, okay, this is your home, buddy. I'm leaving, right? As long as you do that, they pretty much will leave you alone. They don't want to be around you. All right. It takes a lot of their energy to go after you, and they don't want to do that right now. Right. So just give them their space. I have been chased by gators. I don't think you can have lived in the areas of Florida that I've lived in and not have been chased by gators. I've gotten chased by a gator twice. The second time was with my children. I had two of my kids with me at Circle B. And it was our fault. It was my fault entirely. I knew better than what I had done, and I did it anyways. We were walking a trail, and I saw something fall. There was like a little bush off to the left, and I saw something kind of rustle in the bush, and I was like, oh, what is that? And I saw a little tiny baby gator. Again, if you're not from around here, when you see a baby gator, go the other way. Go the other way. Mamas are very, very protective. Very protective. All right. So if you see a baby gator, walk the other way. I did not. I was like, oh, this will be a teaching moment for my children. I don't know why I thought that. I really don't. I told them. I said, hey, look, there's a baby gator. You see this? If you see this, and I was telling them, if you see this, you need to go the other way, right? We're gonna turn around, right? But we are on a path where I wasn't sure where mom was. Mom could be behind us, mom could be in front of us. So it was, okay, what are we gonna do, right? And I'm showing them the gator, and then I notice another gator and another baby. And then I look at the path we're on and I realize, oh no, mom made the nest next to the path. Like her nest is up against this path, right? And I'm thinking, okay, we gotta get out of here. And I'm like, all right, guys, we gotta go. And about that time I heard a splash behind me, and I look, and it's mama. She is coming across that moat. She is coming for us. So I just turned to my kids and I was like, run. Run. They're running. they're trying to get out of there, right? They're running. We get probably I want to say 50 to 100 feet away from the gator once the gator stopped chasing us, right? This is in the middle of July. And it is hot in July here. Matter of fact, I think today's high was like 97. Feels like 105. Uh, so we're running. It's hot. We're panting, and I'm just like, all right, we're gonna go get slushies and calm down. Like we were done. We're like, no more walking. We're not gonna be in Circle B anymore. But that's if you're in Florida, that's just kind of one of the things that you have to watch out for is that if you are anywhere in nature and you're anywhere near a body of water, you are going to have gators. That's just the nature of Central Florida. There are gators almost there's gators in retention ponds in subdivisions. Okay. We have to call gator control to come get them, right? They just make their way there, right? So there's going to be gators. So if you are going out into these nature preserves around here, make sure you're cautious, make sure you know where your surroundings are. If you see a gator, give it its space, leave it alone. All right, leave it alone. But uh Circle B is a nice park. It does have a children's discovery center. So when you are parking in the parking lot, there is a building in the parking lot that you can go into. It's air conditioned. So it's one of those that on a very hot day, you could still get your kids out in nature, kind of. Because inside there, they have this huge tree that the kids can kind of climb in. Underneath the tree is a foxhole that they can go into, and they can see the different animals in that. So Circle B has something very, very cool for kids. It is an educational park. They are trying to teach you about conservation and teaching you about living sustainably in nature. So I applaud them. I love them. And if you go there in the evening times, oftentimes you'll see a lot of photographers coming out because they are trying to get pictures of all the animals that are in Circle B. Guaranteed you'll probably see an armadillo in Circle B. They are not afraid of you. They are not afraid of you. They'll keep on trucking. They'll walk right on past you. They have no fear of you. Um, but you'll see them see photographers out there getting pictures of the birds. There are great horned owls out there. So Circle B has a lot of animals that you can go. Just, be respectful. Be respectful. As far as other things to do around here in Mulberry, there used to be, and again, I need somebody in the comments to tell me whether this place still exists. There used to be not a phosphate pit, but like they had a dredge bucket that they would dump stuff in, and you could sift for shark's teeth and different types of fossils inside this little pit, right? And it was next to, I want to say, the Phosphate Museum. That's what I think, it's phosphate. It's like the fossil museum, the Phosphate Museum. So I believe that's that. If that's no longer around, please tell me, because my kids had the best time and it was free. They could go out there with their little sand toys, and in this little pit area, like I said, they could go out there and they could try to find all the little fossils. They had so many skate teeth and different lemon shark teeth. I think they found some, I want to, they never found like great white or anything like that. No big teeth, but like our normal little reef sharks and lemon sharks, they found those. They found a lot of skate teeth, which was cool. So that's in Mulberry. And I don't know, like, as far as kids going, there's things that we did, but I don't know anymore. So I definitely would love to see people commenting on this video, letting me know, like, what are the other cool places? Because let me tell my daughter, like, hey, you gotta go take my grandbaby over here, right? I'd love to hear from you guys. I did hear that the Kid Cafe here in town closed. So that's no longer available. I don't know why it closed, but I heard it closed. And I know my best friend Gail, she loves taking her nieces there. And so that's no longer available. Somebody said there's something like that in Auburndale. But again, I don't know. I don't have little ones. So y'all gonna have to tell me. All right. As far as eating around here, always. There is some great mom and pop restaurants around here. We love Saigon Bistro. Saigon over by the Cobb. We love them. They are always quick with the food, great service. Absolutely something you need to stop and check out, right? But I know a lot of people love Cozy Oaks over towards uh, Lakeland High School. That's a fan favorite. As far as barbecue, I like Mojo's Federal. That's my thing. I like Mojo's. Mojo's tastes good. There's one guy at Mojo's that typically is always our server anytime I go in there. Big dude, red hair. If he wasn't bald, I think it would be but he's always a great server, always takes care of us when we go in there. So Mojo's. There are so many great places in Lakeland, and that's the thing about this episode is that Lakeland, Central Florida, we will go out of Lakeland to go out to eat and things like that. We go to Tarpon Springs or Brandon. Over in Brandon, there's Grape Leaf, and I adore Grape Leaf. If you like Mediterranean food, Grape Leaf. So we will go to different places and things of that nature. If you're moving here, if you're moving here, this is something you need to know is that we really do have some really great small businesses. And I've talked about mainly like entertainment and food, but we have like the Bookish. We have Vampire Penguin, right? Like we have Scout and Tag. We've got so many great little businesses here and people like pouring their hearts into their own businesses. And not only do they pour their hearts into the business, one of the things that I love about local businesses here is that they they not only want to do business here, they want to make this community better. So a lot of them do community service. A lot of them pour back into the community. A lot of them are doing different type of fundraisers for different organizations. I can't tell you my Facebook feed because I have a lot of small businesses as friends on Facebook, and I'm seeing all of them starting to do school drives, right? Which is super important. We don't all come from areas in which kids can afford school supplies, but they need them. And as a former teacher, I know that. I used to buy extra for my classrooms. So I love seeing small businesses go, hey, we're gonna chip in. The networking group that I'm a part of, they're doing, different types of drives. We have the confidence closet and they're doing a school drive. And I talked about, hey, let's not forget the high schoolers. And they're not. They're all chipping in to make sure these kids, and that's what makes this area so special to me, is that it seems like we're all really trying to do our best at making this place home for everybody, right? And I love that. I absolutely love that. So, my lovelies, I've rambled enough. We pivoted, right? If you are wanting me to give a specific business a shout out, just put a comment, right? Put a comment. I want to know what business needs to be shouted out and what makes them so great. And actually, you can just do the business. Say, I want this business to be shouted out. I will trust that you know that they're good, and that's why you're telling me. All right. So until next week, in which you get to see who was chasing a donkey through the field. I cannot wait for you guys to see her. I have hyped her up so much now. Until next week, when you get to see her, be happy, be safe, and know that I love you. Because if people can hate for no reason, I can love you for no reason. All right, my lovelies. Till next time.